Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll discuss about circulatory system of Amphioxus. Blood vascular system or circulatory system in the case of Amphioxus is quite peculiar phenomenon because in the case of Amphioxus, it lacks heart. The blood of Amphioxus lack respiratory pigment and red blood corpuscles. Because of this feature, it is quite different when compared to other organisms. As you can see in this diagram, the circulatory system of Amphioxus consisting of many number of blood vessels, and these blood vessels you can't differentiate into arteries and veins exactly. Based on its homologies with the arteries and veins of higher vertebrate, we are labeling it as aorta, arteries or veins. Anyhow, you are going to study different types of arteries and veins in the case of Amphioxus which supplies to different parts of the body. Let me start with the one point, that is ventral aorta. As the name indicates, it is a blood vessel which is present at the ventral region or in the sub-endostylar region just below the pharynx. The speciality of this ventral aorta is it is contractile in nature. So it acts as a heart. So it pumps the blood to different parts of the body. This ventral aorta runs in a forward direction as a carotid artery and it supplies to oral hood part of the Amphioxus. This ventral aorta, as you can see in this diagram, it gives rise to two branches known as afferent branchial artery. As the name indicates, branchial refers to pharynx. So this paired afferent branchial artery supplies the blood to the pharynx region, or it runs along the length of the pharyngeal wall and it supplies the blood to pharynx region. At the commencement of this afferent branchial artery, there is a dilation and these dilations are known as bulbillus. These bulbillus part are highly contractile in nature. So it pumps the blood to the pharyngeal wall and it supplies the blood to the pharynx region. In the pharynx, it supplies both primary and secondary gilbar. After supplying the blood to the pharynx region, these blood vessels gives rise to numerous vascular plexus. Vascular plexus means highly network of blood vessels. So these plexus are known as glomus, which supplies the blood to nephridia. So here the blood is supplied to pharynx region. After that the blood is supplied to nephridia part. Later the blood from the pharynx and nephridia is collected by these blood vessels called as efferent branchial artery. So this efferent branchial artery collects the blood from nephridia and pharynx region. This efferent branchial artery unites to form a paired blood vessel called as lateral dorsal aorta. This lateral dorsal aorta runs in a forward direction to form a carotid artery which supplies the blood to snout part of the Amphioxus. The two lateral dorsal aorta, it will unite just behind the pharynx and it forms median dorsal aorta. So this median dorsal aorta is present just behind the pharynx and it runs all along the length of the body. This median dorsal aorta gives rise to paired parietal artery and intestinal artery. Parietal artery supplies the body wall part and intestinal artery supplies the different parts of the intestine, and in the intestine it forms a vascular plexus which supplies all parts of the intestine. Later this median dorsal aorta runs in a backward direction and it forms Cordal artery which supplies the blood to tail part of the animal. So that is about the different types of aorta or artery which supplies different parts of the body. Next comes the veins, different types of vein which collects the blood from different parts of the body. Let me start with the caudal vein. As the name indicates, it is a vein which collects the blood from the tail part. So to the tail, the caudal artery supplies the blood, and from the tail, the blood is collected by caudal vein. And this caudal vein joins sub-intestinal vein. As the name indicates, the sub-intestinal vein collects the blood from different parts of the intestine. And this sub-intestinal vein runs in a forward direction. Next part is midgut part. The smaller blood vessel which is present in the midgut part unites to form a larger blood vessel called as hepatic portal vein. And this hepatic portal vein is present at the ventral border of midgut diverticulum. The smaller blood vessel which is present in the midgut diverticulum unites to form a larger vein called as hepatic vein. and this hepatic vein is present at the dorsal border of midgut diverticulum. This hepatic vein takes a turn and it joins a sac-like structure called as sinus venosus. So it is from the sinus venosus the ventral aorta arises. Apart from that, it has one more type of vein called as parietal vein. This parietal vein collects the blood from the body wall which is present at the posterior part of the animal, and it returns the blood from the body wall to the sinus venosus. There are two more type of vein called as anterior cardinal vein and posterior cardinal vein. So this is an anterior cardinal vein and this is a posterior cardinal vein. This cardinal vein is present at the level of a gonad. As the name indicates, anterior cardinal vein, it collects the blood from body wall, myotomes and gonads which is present at the anterior part of the body. Whereas the posterior cardinal vein, it collects the blood from body wall, myotomes and the gonads which is present at the posterior part of the body. These anterior and posterior cardinal vein unites to form a common cardinal vein or ductus coveri. So this is a common cardinal vein or ductus coveri which finally joins to the sac-like structure called as sinus venosus. So sinus venosus receives the blood from this cardinal vein. It receives the blood from hepatic vein, parietal vein and sub-intestinal vein. So all blood from different parts of the body is emptied into the sinus venosus, and it is from this sinus venosus the ventral aorta arises. So the blood from the sinus venosus passes through the ventral aorta and it will be supplied to different parts of the body. So that is how the blood is circulated to different parts of the body via different blood vessels in the case of Amphioxus. That is all about circulatory system of Amphioxus. I hope this video will be useful. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.